From becoming the must-have social media app to being derided as potential Chinese spyware, TikTok has enjoyed a tumultuous 2020. Even if you're not on TikTok, there's a high likelihood you've seen some of its most famous videos.
Funny, crazy, quick, wacky, addictive, and also a bit random.
I came across TikTok during lockdown.
I kind of downloaded TikTok as a joke.
It was really because they were quite amusing videos that I looked into it a little bit more.
It became a very quick habit.
I probably go on TikTok, I would say 3 or 4 times a week, mainly in the evenings on my phone when I definitely should be sleeping.
I kept seeing really funny videos pop up on Facebook and Instagram on these like meme pages. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to download it.
If I want a humorous moment or I've got 5 or 10 minutes to spare, then I'll have a look at it.
You're like, oh, I'll just watch it for like 10 minutes, and then 2 hours later I'm like, oh, I have to be up for work in 6 hours. Like, it's quite, it hooks you in.
What I like about it is that whatever they do on the show is quite small.
It improves my mood. You know, if I'm having a really rubbish day and I think, I'm just going to go on TikTok and find a really funny video of something ridiculous.
But it has attracted some sizable criticism for its collection of privacy.
If you look at the privacy policy, it's like, many pages long.
If you download something like that and you have a right to read through the terms and conditions.
For even experts, it's often very hard to make sense of that information.
I think that's kind of a consequence of that. So I think you just need to read it.
The app collects a whole host of information on users, including your location, your web address, as well as the type of device you're using. Your browsing history and search history are also stored. Oddly, the app can also gain access to something you've copied onto your clipboard on your device, although the company has since said that it will stop the app from doing that in the future.
A lot of these services, and TikTok is no exception, they use kind of very, very broad terms that, for example, we collect behavioral data about you, and that's a specific term used.
If somebody wants to know how many videos I'm looking at for, having golf tips or, funny videos, then fine. I mean, I personally don't have any issue with it at all, but I can understand why people might do.
When we think of a service as free, it is not really free. We are paying with our data. So a lot of the studies that we have done in our work, users have this kind of sense of disempowerment. They go, well, I have no choice. I want to use this service and I have to give up all this data because otherwise, I can't use the service or I can't be a full participant.
But of course, apps have always been mining our data for years. So is what TikTok is doing any different from the likes of Facebook, Instagram and Twitter?
I don't know if TikTok's any worse for it.
It is worrying. Sometimes I come across videos and I'm like, how has this popped up? Like, I haven't been looking at that kind of thing.
How many times have you been speaking to a friend about something and then it's popped up on your Facebook ads and you're like, oh. On the flip side, I guess if it didn't, you wouldn't see those videos that are so personalized to your stream.
TikTok is not unique in the model that it uses. The primary thing that often tends to be in the news is that we think of privacy as confidentiality of our information, which is of course very, very important.
When it comes to the type of data it collects, it seems relatively par for the course. But it's TikTok owner ByteDance's Chinese headquarters that draws more criticism than its US counterparts. Detractors of the app insist that should Beijing demand user data from the company, it will have to hand it over. And this is a claim that TikTok has repeatedly rebuffed.
How do I ensure that the purposes that you are claiming for my data to be used for, it is only going to be used for those purposes and none other?
I suppose if I was explained if there could be any dangers or any issues, either for myself or other people, then I may, I'd obviously look at that to decide whether I want to use it anymore, depending on how the data was being used.
You're kind of not consulted. It could just be given to someone, and obviously you don't know who that person is. Especially when you don't live in that country as well. Obviously, I know everyone's got different rules and regulations.
But despite TikTok's protestations of innocence, the company could still face a ban from the US. Should America proceed with such an action, it would represent a fascinating step forward in the ever-escalating trade war between the two countries.
I think we as a society have to ask the question, is this really the future we want to see, or are there alternative models?
As against TikTok, my opinion at the moment, not knowing everything about it, is then you should be against every social media app. I'm not seeing how it's innately worse.
As we build new services, we should learn from our past experiences of what has happened with regards to this kind of data harvesting and these kind of models, and ask ourselves the question, is this the only way? And what are the alternatives? And, consciously as a society and as an innovation ecosystem effectively think about what are those new kinds of services that actually have the protection of citizens and their privacy at their heart, and not just indiscriminate monetization of users as a resource and their data as a resource.